we need other countries to help in terms of weapons and ammunition. Ukraine is capable of doing it itself, and I don't think any other country would move the troops on Ukrainian territory to fight with Ukraine. If they didn't do so before, then I don't think that it will happen. No, but we still need the ammunition and the weapons, because last 8 years, before the Russian attack in 2014, our army was nearly non-existent. It was very close to zero, not much things. Very poor, very destroyed, corrupt, and everything. And then in last 8 years, we built up some army, but we don't have missiles like Russians do. We don't have fleet like Russians do. We don't have enough airplanes, helicopters. We're like 10 times less than Russians. We don't have as much artillery. Artillery is like 1 to 10 maybe, 1 to 20, I don't know. In some places 1 to 20, the proportion. So we're so outnumbered in this. We're really like a small army in terms of weapons. We have a lot of Kalashnikov, maybe this machine guns, but something like. But this is more for guerrilla wars, not for a real war. And you cannot just take machine gun and fight the tank, right? However, our people did somehow in northern parts like Chernihiv and Sumy. So we definitely need this support from the world, because I repeat, we have to put the end to this endless blackmailing, which is dangerous and creates very dangerous precedents. And we have to put the end to the aggression, because this is aggression. Like, again, listen to what they say on the TV. Why we should stop here? Next will be Lithuania or Poland, and then might be a Berlin again. Why don't we do Berlin again? Then Kazakhstan and all this stuff. I mean, it's endless. It's like it's a beast with a huge appetite. Because 21st century, it's not only about numbers. It's about the tactics. It's about the morality. It's about the motivation. It's about the quality. For example, like if we compare the cannons, Russians and what we have in hands now, it's like 20 times more efficient. It's one hit, one tank. And Russian artillery maybe 100 hits, no tank, because they don't have precise weapons now. So they just hit somewhere. Maybe there should be tank, maybe not, they don't know. And the intelligence, like drones, like finding out where is something, and then we just hit. So one hit, one object. It's about intelligence, it's about mobility, it's about motivation. They are not motivated, and we are very much, because we are defending our land. They are coming. Why they came here, they don't know. Even themselves, they don't know why. What are they doing here? For what? If you think about Second World War, like Soviet army went to Berlin, at least it was like an answer, a reply, a response to the attack. So they came to Stalingrad and then all the way back to Berlin, right? Can be like a bit of logics here, but here, why? Why did they do this? It's just groundless, and that's why we are defending our land, our kids. And what are they doing here? Yeah. So it's about technologies, and we hope we'll get more high-tech weapons. It's about tactics, which is our tactics is better, and that's why we have a different number of casualties. By the way, it cannot be compared in military terms, because the majority of people died in Ukraine are civilians. The military people die a lot still, but cannot be compared to the numbers of Russians. They died just like they don't care. I mean, the commanders of Russian army don't care how many people will die in battle. The main thing is one can defeat the army, but one cannot defeat the nation. When the whole nation is fighting, fighting with arms, fighting, volunteering, providing everything, is giving the last money to buy drones for the army, to buy the night, how do you call it, night when you can see at night, to buy optics, to buy everything, to provide food. All the country is doing this now. So how can you do this with your ridiculous army, even if it is big? You can control the territories for some time, but then look what happens in the south of Ukraine, in the Kherson region. A lot of guerrillas started to do things, right? They blow up something here, blow up something there, kill the commander of the regiment, whatever. So they do something, and it means that the population is resisting, the citizens are resisting. So how can you win this? How can you control the territories when all hate you? They just hate you. And then plus we didn't lose army, we still have army. If we don't have army, yes, it will take years and years maybe, but we still have army, and it's well armed, and more people volunteer, want to be a part of this army. So yeah, it's not possible, it's definite. It will happen sooner or later. I hope sooner, but yeah. I don't know the percent, but definitely is not as much as we want to reclaim the territories yet. We have maybe even not enough to, I mean, we stay, now it's like, I would not use the word stable, but it's like balanced now. So they cannot move any further, maybe 10 meters, maybe 5 meters a day. We cannot move back any further. On eastern parts, it's still like this, confrontation, right? In the southern parts, we liberate the villages, we liberate the territories step by step, very confidently. But if we have the number of arms that promised by Ramstein meeting, I think that it will be the matter of a couple of months to liberate all the territories, yes. Because we're not running out of personnel. We still have a lot of well-trained people, and they cannot know how to use it. Okay, the main supporters of that, I would say that US, UK, Poland, Baltic states like Estonia, Lithuania, Latvia, Czech Republic, a lot, Slovakia, a lot. Maybe that's it. So the main countries, yeah. But still, again, I would not say that other countries are not helping. We received something from France. We received something from from Norway, from Denmark, so from Netherlands. So it's piece by piece. It's bit by bit. We get something. However, not enough. No, I repeat, not enough. And we understand that, for example, Germany and France, they are not helping us as much as they can, for reasons I don't want to discuss. But last 8 years after the occupation of Crimea and the war in Donbass, France and Germany were the biggest countries to sell weapons to Russia. Military stuff, like, for example, tanks, all have the optics imported from Germany and France and all the rest of it, So many countries were still exporting weapons or we say related to military to Russia. Yeah. So I don't understand why, and I would like to discuss this. No. Because if they wanted first of all, they occupied Mariupol, and they occupied the cities like Berdyansk, Melitopol, Kherson, right? So they have corridor now, okay? But the point is, if they really wanted this corridor, they would attack from the Mariupol side and from Crimea side at the very beginning of the war, but they would not move to Kiev direction, they would not move to Kharkiv, they would not bombard Chernihiv, Sumy, etc. And they would not try to occupy Odessa, Odessa port, etc. So this, if they only needed this, why they attacked all Ukraine, and then it moved there, and they started already to create so ridiculous Kherson Republic, that sort of things. They started to introduce Russian money, Russian passports, and all that. So all this rubbish, which is useless in the modern world, Russian passport doesn't worth anything. It doesn't worth a paper now because it's just blocked from many countries and useless. So obviously it's not that they only want this on-land corridor to Crimea. And don't forget that still Crimea is part of Ukraine. It's not Russian territory. It's occupied and not recognized by other states. It's just occupied gray zone, gray territory. They never. Okay, how can you imagine peace negotiations? Like normal people, a normal person, you ask him, how do you imagine peace negotiations? What it is? I would answer like, to start peace negotiations, the armies should stop, ceasefire. Yeah. First, what we do? Cease fire. For a day, for two, for a week, just stop. Don't move. Don't fight. We just stop and wait. Okay. It never happened. 110 days, right? It's still not a single day without bombing, shelling, and everything. So they speak about Donbass, and they still launch rockets, missiles to Kiev, to Odessa, to other cities. What? How can you negotiate in this situation? So what are you negotiating? The peace or the war? So it will be war negotiations, not peace negotiations. And again, whatever Putin says is lies. So he just says something he thinks. He says a lot of stupid things, and really people look and don't understand that it's really could be like a leader of a country, of any country, or could be really like a president of Russia, which was supposed to be like a great Russia, like all that. No. That's why we had the early attempts of negotiations, like 2 months ago maybe. When you have a war, right, you are under attack, and people come and say, okay, we can stop the war, but our demand is you surrender, you give up all your arms, and you give up all the territories we want, and then we stop the war. Who will agree with that? It's not logical. It's mad. It's madness. That's what they said, physically. Then when they understood that Kiev region and Chernihiv, Sumy, Kharkiv are not going to be under occupation, so they retreated to Donbass and say, okay, we don't want this. We want you to recognize the Crimea as Russian territory. You have to recognize both Donetsk and Lugansk regions are part of Russia, or independent states, whatever, it's the same basically, and then we can stop fighting, stop. See, it's our territories. What do you have to do with our territories? Why should you recognize Crimea or Donbass as your territory? On what grounds? Of course, people wouldn't agree with that. Even if president says that, yeah, we can think about it, people would not agree. People want to live at their homes, right? They don't want to live in whatever territories proposed by Russia. And they definitely don't want to live under Russian rule. That's definitely. He never refused, but he said basically that's what I just told you. We never refuse to negotiate, but to negotiate you have to you have to have reasonable claims and demands, reasonable. And second, you have to stop fighting. Ceasefire and we'll talk. You don't cease fire, how can we talk? Imagine two boxers or whoever fighting, right? Real deadly fight. And then someone say, hey guys, let's negotiate. And I don't think they can negotiate until they stop real fighting and stay and talk, right? You cannot just fight and negotiate at the same time. No, it will be not possible. And Ukrainians kill themselves. How? When I think about this, first of all, what I think is about my kids, about my family. How can I, imagine? I would not even want to imagine this. And they do, and they just, okay, it's nothing. Which military operation? Not many people died. We never shell the residentials. We never killed civilians. It's all like military. How can you say this? I mean, okay, first days you could probably lack of facts, maybe lack of information, like first days of war. No, 100 days. It's like the whole, I mean, the dozens of world leaders visited Ukraine now, and they went everywhere. And even Tempo journalists went to Ukraine and came back. Two Compass journalists now in Ukraine arrived like 2 weeks, maybe 1 week or 2 weeks. So they are reporting all the time about what's happening. And they visit the places destroyed. And it's not a fake, it's just what your correspondents deliver, right? You have also Al Jazeera. If you don't trust BBC, fine, but you have Al Jazeera, right? It's people who are not supposed to lie, right? Because they can be biased, but they're not supposed to lie. They're like being Muslim people, and it's just not good to lie, right? Yeah. Then you have recently again the AFP, Agency France Presse. They sent from here, they sent a correspondent, Indonesian guy, went also to Ukraine to report. So again, if someone doesn't now, Indonesian people look at this and they cannot disbelieve, because it's like, what? Whom do you believe? The one who is lying and they never visited this, and the people who saw it with their own eyes, right? So if you believe, then she lies. If she lies, then it's outrageous. It's a crime. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So just go and see. Yeah, go and see. By the way, we invited Indonesian government many times to send the observers and send the experts to participate in the investigation of war crimes, of crimes against humanity in all this.
What our government response?
No response. I just invited them many times, say you can join it, because it's international team. It's not just we, Ukrainian Prosecutor General. No, it's international team under the auspices of ICC and ICJ. They are investigating every crime. I think now this report, the 17,000 crimes, war crimes filed already. 17,000 cases already, you see? So it's not a small scale. You see, I'm not going to criticize or lecture the government of Indonesia, because matter that should be decided by the leadership of Indonesia, by the government of Indonesia. But honestly speaking, I would like to have more clear, more substantial, more tangible maybe. Yes, I would like to, because I think that, again, I repeat that what happens in Ukraine is not just a local conflict or Ukrainian crisis or something. It's effectively, from my point of view, it feels more like a third world war, because too many countries involved, and involved in terms not only like helping Ukraine or not helping Ukraine, in terms of, for example, food security. Yeah, so the world is involved because 21st century again, what happens? All is interconnected. Everything that happens something happens in this part of the world, immediately has response in that part of the world. It's logistics, it's high technologies, it's economy, it's finance. You pay here, you get money immediately, like in 10 seconds you get money there. It's a magic. But whatever happens in this part of the world, if a small crisis or a big war, it influences the whole world, in terms including the food security, the energy security, the health security, right? Everything is under threat at present. That's why every country is under threat to this or that extent. It could be under threat of starvation, if it's like some countries where we deliver the grains. It could be under threat of big energy crisis or big financial crisis, raise of prices, unemployment, because you lose the markets for your own products. It can be, for some countries, it can be crisis of refugees. For some countries, it can be, again, the new threat of like any other neighbor repeating this scenario, like threatening and then, territorial expansions, and etc. So everyone is. That's why I think that the responsibility of every country in the world is to stop the war, put the end of this war. So whatever you think, how far you are, it doesn't matter. What matters is how you really respond. What you really. Okay, I would say it this way. Every government might ask itself a question of the world, every country. What did we do and what could we do to put the end to this catastrophe? You know, to restore the peace in the world, because now it's like big influence. It's like big influence, not only for Eurasia, but for the world. What could we do and what did we do? What did we do? And did we have a plan? Or just, talking and discussing? That's the question every country might ask itself. Every government might ask itself. Did we support Ukraine to be independent? Did we help civilians who suffered? Maybe. Did we support Ukraine maybe with some, I don't know, with gasoline or with the food, maybe, for the army? Maybe. What did we do? Did we do anything to unblock the ports so the grains can be delivered to the countries who need? Did we condemn the Russian aggression? Like condemned Russian aggression? I mean, name the aggressor. Putin is a murderer. Russia is an aggressor. It's okay. But every move, everything, every single dollar, every single word could be very useful. Because ideally, Russia is cut off all the resources, all the money, the currency income of all the supplies. And in this situation, war will end very soon because they would not be able to finance the war. They would not be able to finance the military machine. They would not be able to finance the soldiers, etc. They would not be able to produce the missiles, new ammunition, etc. So sanctions against Russia, blocking Russia, isolating Russia, boycotting Russia is not about humiliating Russia. It's about ending the war. So if you think from this point of view, it's easy. And what happens now, you can look from the media, it's open. No, Russia was isolated by many countries, like blocked by many countries, but still not by the others. So, Russians now don't have access to SWIFT, don't have access to the money into the Western paying systems, so they cannot pay in cards and everything. They cannot travel to Europe or to the United States or to many other countries, etc. So this is good idea, and people will try to understand. Russian people are starting to understand that something is going wrong, and when they ask themselves why, some people answer, "Oh, because the West is bad," but some people say, "Oh, maybe we did something wrong. Maybe let's think about it." You see. So as I repeated, the responsibility of all big nations in this world, and of course of all nations, but mainly of the big nations, is to protect peace and stability of the world, like this. So whom would we rely on if the main players, like G20 plus, main players don't care, maybe? Well, I just imagine, big players don't care. So this will be like Middle Ages. I fight because I want. I kill because I feel like, So if big countries, influential countries, do something tangible, do something efficient to stop the war, to prevent Russia from financing war, this will be very, very efficient. So basically what countries help, who does what, you can see from the media, it's open. So you can easily find the very reliable information, who did what and what are their results. And I think in here is very important also. I just talked about the very tangible things, right? Or like producing ammunition, producing weapons, right, by Russia, and financing the war. I can talk about different things from the point of view of many states. If your foreign policy like very clearly states that you are against war, any aggression, and the sovereignty and independence of state is sacred thing, the holy thing. You cannot abuse it. You cannot abuse the right of other countries for sovereignty. Then you'll know what to do. It's principles. It's principles. If you let one country invade another country, sovereign country, and you just leave it alone, next day another country will invade another country, and the third day maybe you will be invaded by the third country. Who knows? And nobody would help, because they say, "Wow, you just stayed apart. You just didn't say a word, and what?" And then do what you want on your own. You are on your own. First, I don't remember my president ever promised he would come. He said that he accepted the invitation with gratitude, and then he said that if my people would need me this time, I would not be able to visit, but I will be able to speak online maybe. If it is a more stable situation, perhaps yes. But this was not. I mean, it is a long way to go. It's still what, 4 months, 5 months, July, August, September, 4 months plus. Yes, so it's a long time. It's a long way to go. It's more than 3 months that we have the war in Ukraine. So it's. I don't think we will decide immediately. I think the decision would be taken maybe late September, maybe early October. So, like this. As for Putin, I really doubt he would come. I really doubt. No, don't know. Well, I hope he dies very soon. But it's not up to me, you know. It's I would not. If I decided, I would sacrifice my life to do this. But unfortunately, I cannot do this. But no, it's not about this. It's we can only pray, you know, for his death. But if because the evil should disappear, and Putin is a pure evil. He's devil. He's not a human. He's devil, and devil doesn't have a right to be here and to rule the world. You know. No, the point is not this. The point is that I'm sure that he will not be brave enough to leave his bunker, to leave his very secure place, sit on the on the plane, and cross the half of the world. I think that too many people hate him too much, and there are too many good weapons existing in the world that, you know, can play tricky things. That you know, that's really what I think. That he would not dare to leave, I think. And from the other hand, I mean, I think he's aware that if he comes into any country, I'm not talking about Bali or any place, there is always a possibility that he will be arrested, you know, on the ground of the whatever world organization's decision that he is the terrorist and Russia is a terrorist state and he is a war criminal. War criminals should be arrested whoever they are and wherever they go, whenever they you know, do whatever. Yes. So too many risks for him. I don't think he would go. President Jokowi invited Mr. Zelensky, my president. It's a good and friendly move, and if by that time the situation will be like more clear and definitely more stable, definitely more safe for Ukraine. And if he goes, I think that it would be a very good move in terms of like global opposing the aggressive wars. It's a big matter that I think should be on the agenda. Because what was in the agenda of G20 by now, of course, obviously, it was like about economic agenda, it's health, it's an energy, it's IT and everything, digital transformation and all that. But it was good, excellent. I love the agenda, and we really were prepared to participate in this actively a lot of things we can do, really, from our coming from our experts and technologies. But I think that no one issue can be discussed without taking into consideration the situation in Ukraine. No single one. Not health, no energy, no digital transformation. Everything is being under threat and being destroyed. First, we start from the small one, from iron and steel. Iron and steel were exported mainly from the port of Mariupol. So now you can imagine what happened to Mariupol. And as you see the latest reports by Russian media, they are moving all the steel stock from Mariupol ports and Mariupol plants. They're just stealing. They're just stealing, like in tens of thousands of tons, moving it to Rostov, to somewhere. Yeah, it's just robbery. That's what they do. Perhaps some steel belongs to Indonesia. I don't know, because it's have to be investigated. Second is about gandum and corn and all the other grains we export to the world markets. As I mentioned, it's 20 million still there, and 12 million tons of grains. And the problem is how to deliver these grains to the world market, because the ports are blocked. The on-land routes are under some threat, definitely, because if they know the route, they can launch missile and just destroy the railway or something. It could be. They've already destroyed some silos in Ukraine, and they've already stolen around 500,000 tons from Ukrainian grains. Yeah, they stolen and just moved it to Crimea, and then tried to sell it to Egypt and to other countries. And of course, the countries say, no, we don't want to buy stolen grains because you don't provide the certificates, you don't have anything, just stolen, right? So we don't want to participate in the robbery. And then they moved it to Syria. Syria is obviously they don't care. And I think that they recently sold grains to Syria for some $40 million, the amount of that. So, and of course, they've stolen already tens of thousands of tons of grains from the ports of Berdyansk, Mariupol, and Berdyansk and Mariupol in Azov Sea, and moved it to Rostov and to other regions of Russia. So perhaps there were some grains belong to Indonesia. I don't know. But the problem is, until they unblock until they create the safe corridors, we cannot do this. We just cannot physically, because it's dangerous, and it's what they do. Okay, they say, okay, we give you the corridor. It repeated many times in the last 8 years, right? Say, of course we give you the corridor. Just hey, world community, we give Ukraine the corridor. Then the ships start, move to some place, then hit of missile, it drowns. Say, Ukrainians, it's their provocations. They provoked us. They hit their own ship with their own grains to blame Russia. That's what they always do. So it's not safe. No promise of as they there is a saying that ducks and cocks don't trust fox. Whatever it says, don't trust fox. We use some new routes, deliver it to other ports of other countries, of partner countries, and then. But I don't know, because it will require the check upon the contracts and everything. So, but can you imagine, one ship can take 50,000 tons of wheat, 50,000 tons. Now, to make these 50,000 tons come from the silos to the port, I don't know, of Romania maybe, Constanța, how many railway carriages would you need? One carriage is what, 10 tons? 50,000 tons? Can you imagine how many? Hundreds. And we have 22 million tons of grains. So if you deliver by land, by carriages, it will take years, maybe. It will not satisfy the demand. So the ports are the only answer. Ports is the answer. We have basically three main ports. It's few ports in Odessa and one port of Mykolaiv. It's another city, Mykolaiv near Kherson, very close. I'll show you. It's like, so here Crimea, right?
Yeah.
Here's Odessa port. So it goes from here. One is Mykolaiv, is here. Mykolaiv is here, but it still goes this Black Sea, right?
Yeah.
One here, and Mariupol from Azov, but Berdyansk and Mariupol. So they go here and so in any case, it's all blocked by Russian militaries and by Russian battleships. Of course, we had huge plans, and how do I position? I would not say how I position, but Indonesia was till the beginning of this year till the beginning of this year, Indonesia was the biggest trade partner of Ukraine in the region of Southeast Asia, the biggest one, and we had a lot of plans and ideas to develop this, of course, because mainly, as you mentioned, we export wheat and iron and steel to Indonesia, and we import a lot of palm oil from Indonesia. So it was like simple trade, but we had plans to build up some new models of cooperation, including some investment, including some more cooperation in military sphere, more cooperation in sphere of high technologies, and more cooperation in the framework of G20 goals, like 1 to 3, right? Especially the energy transition and digital transformation. We can make a great input into this, for we cooperate with the Europe very actively on those. So we had a lot of plans, but unfortunately we have to postpone many of them. Technologically, we are capable of many things to do in Indonesia. Financially, we are not very capable of making big investment. But from the other point of view, if you get investments, even from your private sector, you can get a lot of nice things from Ukraine. The technologies of agriculture, the technologies of like military and half military, like high tech, I don't know, producing maybe the engines for submarines or engines for civilian ships, maybe for aircrafts. It could be anything. So a lot of things. But I would make a stress, and I would make the emphasis on the high-tech cooperation with Indonesia. Of course, if we talk about you just walk through the Pasar Swalayan, you just see the fruits, vegetables, and everything. We have so many nice, wonderful vegetables which are cheaper than maybe even if you deliver them from other countries in Asia, right? Because, like Malaysia imports Singapore, Vietnam, they import a lot of Ukrainian, berries, blueberries, apples, everything. So, and you import a lot of apples from Italy. If you compare Italy to Ukraine, Ukrainian apples like times and times cheaper and not worse. So diversity is another thing. So we can diversify and of course we're looking at creating joint ventures in Indonesia to do, including the agriculture. We can do something very interesting. I would not disclose because now it's like frozen, but there are some nice things that we can, like grapes, for example. Grapes, angur. It's now we have in Jakarta, Timur, I think. There is a community of vineyards of grapes, community of grapes, and we cooperate with them. So we get new types of grapes, and they put it plant it, and they have the very good results. Very good. Climate is suitable for Ukrainian grapes. For example, just one small example. So we can do more. For example, again, food processing. It's amazing. We have absolutely fantastic food processing system in Ukraine. For example, we don't have cocoa, but we produce chocolate. which one of the best in the world, I think. I don't like other chocolate. I eat Ukrainian. It's really good. And you have cocoa in Bali and other places a lot. But for some reasons you deliver it somewhere to other place and then process and then, I don't know. But if we just cooperate on this, food processing will gives you a big added value, much bigger than just export cocoa or coffee. You can do amazing things here. It's simple to answer. First of all, I would not give advices to the Indonesian government. They are clever and wise and much more experienced than me. They know what they do. They know what the targets are. And I think they will take all the measures to make it happen and to fulfill all the tasks they set for themselves. And as for Ukraine, I really hope that not only Indonesian presidency, but all the other members of G20 will take all possible measures to stop the war. Not just talk, not just go like long-term negotiations and diplomacy, because this will take years. And if you just ask anybody, would you like to have a peaceful solution after 10 years of war, or you have a non-peaceful solution that will end the war within 1 month? I think that everyone will answer, I don't want the war for 10 years in my country. I want it like resolved and the peace to re-establish in Ukraine. That's it. So we can talk, we can discuss, but we should bear in mind that only tangible things can bring the peace to any country in the state of war. Any. It's not only about Ukraine. If you want to stop the war, block the sources of the financing for the aggressor. Very easy. So I do hope that G20 will do something very tangible and efficient in terms of something, really something, right? That will stop Russia from attacking, stop Russia from producing weapons that kill our people and ammunition. That's it. That's what I hope, really.